Dear learners, welcome to today's session. Today, we'll discuss an important topic: systems approach to instructional design in the context of educational technology. Please watch the entire video carefully and take notes on the key points. At the end of the session, you'll find multiple choice questions to help reinforce and assess your understanding of the topic. Let us try to understand. Systems approach to instructional design. The systems approach to instructional design refers to a structured and scientific process of designing, developing, implementing, and evaluating instruction. It views the teaching learning process as a system where all components, objectives, content, methods, media, learners, and evaluation are interrelated and interdependent. This approach ensures that instruction is goal-oriented, efficient, effective, and adaptable, making it especially relevant in educational technology where planning and feedback mechanisms are essential for optimizing learning outcomes. The systems approach to instructional design is an essential methodology in educational planning and technology-enhanced learning. By viewing instruction as a system, educators can design meaningful learning experiences that are coherent, goal-oriented, and responsive to feedback. It equips teachers to become not just deliverers of content but designers of effective, learner-centered instruction. Definition: the systems approach is a problem-solving framework that helps in analyzing a learning situation, defining goals, and designing a sequence of instructional activities to achieve those goals effectively. By Walter Dick and Low Carey. Key components of systems approach. 1. Input includes learner characteristics, learning objectives, content, resources, and entry behavior. 2. Process the instructional strategies, teaching methods, media, and interaction patterns used during instruction. 3. Output learning outcomes, changes in behavior or performance of learners. 4. Feedback evaluation and assessment results are used to revise and improve instruction continuously. 5. Environment the physical, psychological, and socio-cultural context in which learning takes place. Steps in the systems approach to instructional design. 1. Needs assessment. Identify the learning problem or gap and analyze the learner's needs. 2. Setting instructional objectives. Define clear, measurable goals, what learners should know or be able to do. 3. Content selection and organization. Select relevant material and sequence it logically based on learners' prior knowledge. 4. Choosing instructional strategies. Determine the best methods, lecture, group work, technology-based tools, and media, videos, simulations, etc. 5. Developing instructional materials. Prepare lesson plans, worksheets, PPTs, multimedia content, etc. 6. Implementation deliver the instruction to the target learners. 7. Evaluation formative during instruction and summative after instruction. Assessments are conducted to measure effectiveness. 8. Revision modify the instructional plan based on feedback and assessment data. Characteristics of the systems approach. Goal-oriented, focused on achieving defined learning outcomes. Learner-centered, based on learners' needs and prior knowledge. Scientific and systematic, uses a step-by-step logical procedure. Feedback-driven, incorporates evaluation to improve effectiveness. Flexible and adaptive, can be revised as needed for improvement. Applications in educational technology. E-learning course development, Designing modules using LMS platforms like Moodle or Google Classroom. Multimedia integration, creating video lessons or interactive apps based on learners' needs. Blended learning, structuring offline and online components effectively. Curriculum planning, developing units or full year plans aligned with standards and outcomes. Dear viewers, let's solve some important multiple choice questions based on the presentation. 1. What does the systems approach to instructional design primarily emphasize? A. Random teaching techniques. B. Goal-oriented and systematic instruction. C. Traditional lecture-based methods. D. Rote memorization. 2. In the systems approach, what is considered the input? A. Learner characteristics, objectives, and content. B. Media used during instruction. C. Assessment tools. D. Final examination. 3. What is the primary role of feedback in the systems approach? A. To determine grades. B. To revise and improve instruction. C. To motivate students only. D. To delay the evaluation process. 4. What is the purpose of needs assessment in instructional design? A. To distribute textbooks. B. To identify gaps in learning and learner needs. C. To conduct parent-teacher meetings. D. To assign grades. 5. Which of the following is not a component of the systems approach? A. Process. B. Output. C. Memorization. D. Feedback. 6. Instructional objectives in the systems approach must be A. Vague and abstract. B. Clear and measurable. C. General and flexible. D. Complex and lengthy. 7. The systems approach is most useful for A. One-time lectures. B. Systematic planning and delivery of instruction. C. Casual teaching. D. Unplanned discussions. 8. Which phase includes preparing lesson plans and developing teaching materials? A. Implementation. B. Development. C. Analysis. D. Evaluation. 9. What does the process component involve in the systems approach? A. Test scores and grading. B. Learning environment only. C. Instructional methods and strategies used. D. Curriculum development only. 10. Which of the following is a benefit of using a systems approach? A. Promotes rote learning. B. Encourages teacher dominance. C. Promotes efficiency and continuous improvement. D. Discourages use of technology. 11. The systems approach helps teachers to A. Teach without planning. B. Address each learner's needs effectively. C. Focus only on content delivery. D. Ignore student feedback. 12. Which of the following is an example of output in the systems approach? A. Teaching methods used. B. Instructional objectives. C. Student learning outcomes. D. Feedback forms. 13. Evaluation in the systems approach is used to A. Punish low-performing students. B. Decide school rankings. C. Assess and improve the instructional process. D. Increase homework load. 14. What kind of approach does the systems approach to instructional design represent? A. Fragmented. B. Linear only. C. holistic and systematic. D. Arbitrary. Thank you, don't miss out. Subscribe now to my YouTube channel, Education and Teacher Education, for insightful content and valuable resources.